Right, hello, hello, welcome everybody. This is part 2 of our Color Along Out of Autumn Harvest by Teresa Goodridge. We started this page together. So we used an alcohol marker base to put down the base of the wood, and then we went over it with some pencil. I know it doesn't show up very well on camera, but we have some pretty good looking wood put in there. So that is part 1 if you are interested. I kind of left that all as part 1 in case you are just wanting the wood, you would know where to find it. Today I think we are going to go ahead and tackle these sunflowers and a couple of these pumpkins and see how it looks from there. So I'm going to start with the sunflowers. I never got a, I totally lost my train of thought there. I never got any comments as to whether we preferred straight coloring or basing with marker. So I am going to go ahead and base with marker. Hopefully Santa Claus will bring some Prismacolors for Christmas this year. So this is just a Teo tree and it's a pale yellow. So if you have a Sharpie pale yellow, I think just about every marker set has some form of pale yellow. But all we are going for here is just a light yellow. So lighter than the lightest pencil we're going to use, which will probably be my canary yellow for this. So that's all we want, is a color that is similar so that when we go over it with the canary yellow, they kind of blend together. So I think I like those two. This one might be a little bright. It might be hard to see my pencil. So I think we'll go with this one. I have another set if I need to pull it. Let me put my blotter page back so I don't forget, because I will. And we will get started. So all I'm going to do is color the whole sunflower. Minus the middle, I should say. I'm going to color all the sunflower petals. How about that? With this marker. So we're going to go ahead and make this a multimedia page. For everybody that's interested, this is how I do marker, pencil over marker. And why? And the main reason is, doesn't eat up as many pencils. As much of pencils. So I'm not going to mess with the leaves or anything right now. I'm just going to stick with the sunflower petals. Again, be careful because some of these Creative Haven books, not even just Teresa Goodridge, some of them when you color over the black lines with a lighter marker, they do seem to smear the ink a little. Kind of like right there. So be aware of that. Totally forgot until I did it. So. Good reminder for everyone to watch the ink. Okay, there's one. And then alcohol marker dries fairly quickly, but I will pause for a moment and let this dry completely. Don't ever, even with water-based markers, if you try to color over pencil, when it's wet, it's going to pill your paper. It's going to get them little balls. It's going to get rough spots. That's how we get holes. Things like that. So we're going to let it dry. Just depending on the type of marker, how long. If you're using water-based marker, it's going to take a little longer to dry. And you will probably have more layer of marker down. Working around my berries here. And again, we left our brown out for our door. So if we missed areas, you'll see right here isn't colored yet. Those are spots. I wasn't sure I was doing door until I got other spots colored. So we left our door colors out in case we need to go back and pull them, which it looks like I skipped a spot right there. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. Or is that a leaf? I'm going to leave that one for a minute. It looks a little longer than the leaf, but it's kind of the same shape. But the shorter, they should be shorter in the back. So I'm pretty sure this is door. I'm going to color it as door. Okay. So we're going to give it a minute to dry there. We got pouring rain today. We even got to see a flood in the parking lot with all the cars driving through it. It almost wanted to turn to snow, but it didn't. So far, no snow for Wyoming yet. Okay, so Remember that I am heavy-handed, so I press hard. I'm going to start with my darker color. This is Goldenrod, and I'm going to go over the line and anywhere there's a shadow. So anywhere these little petals overlap, the center lines of all of them, anywhere there's going to be a little bit of shadow. Now, I probably will add a little more dimension to these petals. But to start with, I am going to just get in my base stuff. So the stuff we for sure know. I went a little wild on that one, but it's okay. It'll blend out. So I know this is a pale looking flower. If you are into the paler flowers, I do think I have, or I did have, an example of the paler colored sunflowers up. If you want that combination, I can post it in the comments if you would like to keep these pale instead of bright yellow. I'm doing bright yellow because I've already done the paler flowers when we did all the Teresa Goodridge pages. So I was doing something a little different, but I don't know where I set my example. Let me see. Okay, so these type of sunflowers, so it's cream, goldenrod, and sand, or the other one, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's yellow ochre. So if you want that combination, let me know. I will look it up and find it, or get you the similar one. But for this purpose, I am going bright. So mine are going to be bright, orangey golden sunflowers. I think it'll play nicely with my bright reds I'm going to have for the berries, and my orange pumpkins. So again, we're thinking a little bit about our color palette. We know we're kind of going fall because the theme of the page. So keeping our 7 colors in mind. This goldenrod will play nicely with my wood door. And the yellow I can add to these leaves down here and these wheat stalks or whatever they are. I'm not really sure what people call them. And there I missed a little petal, and that's why we keep our colors out. I'm going to skip that one for a minute and let it dry. And not pressing hard. Again, we are just putting in bases. Just trying to make sure. I'm going to bring these black lines up a little further on some of these petals, just because I feel like it leaves a large open spot that attracts the eye. But we will add a little detail to that, so it's not just one dark line going through our leaf here. Or our petal, I mean. I'm sorry for the delay on this. I know I put up a part 1 and then it's been a couple days. I caught the crud and I decided I would do a speed coloring out of Magic Made Real. So I'm kind of working on that. I didn't realize using hyperlapse that like 1 minute for every minute I colored it would be a second. So I've put like an hour in, and my video is only a minute long. So I don't know how I'm gonna upload it. I'm just not sure if I want to break it into sections or just put it all together when it's done. But I did that to kill some times because I had the sniffle so bad and I didn't feel like everybody wanted to hear me sniffle all the way through the video. Okay, so we're gonna come over here and do the same thing on this one. I really want to find a page where I can do the bright orange to red, like they're called blood orange sunflowers, I think. They are so pretty. We tried to plant some this summer, but they didn't come up in time. We planted too late. But I'd really like to tackle those on a page somewhere. I've really been slacking. I haven't been doing any prompts or any really festive. I've kind of just been doing whatever goes wherever. I do think I have the next page picked out that I want to do for Teresa Goodridge Color Along out of Small Town Charm. So if you are interested in that one will be next. And I know I'd swap between themes between the gnomes and the scenery, but I think I might tackle another scenery because I have my eye on a nighttime campfire lake scene that I feel like could be really fun. So we shall see. Alright, so we got all of that in. Okay, No harsh lines. So if you feel like you got anything too dark, put a fuzzy edge on it. Fuzzy edges help us blend. Fuzzy edges make not harsh lines. Okay. Did I go back and finish the harsh line? Okay, make sure I'm still on camera here. So the next color I'm going to take is going to be, let's see which is more orange. I can never remember, Spanish orange or sunburst orange. Spanish orange is a little darker. And I'm going to come right over the goldenrod and out a little bit. So we're kind of hiding the goldenrod a little bit. It's there, but we can't tell. Adds a little shadow look to our orange, which is what we're going for. If you're ever buying Prismacolors open stock, and of course it's going to be a little different for everyone, and it depends on what you color a lot of. But when I had to restock in between sets, I stocked up on lime peels, goldenrods, and dark umbers for sure. I know there was a few others, but I know lime peel was hard to find in like smaller sets. Because I even tried buying like the ocean and sets that were like marked down at Walmart and like the basic Prismacolor set. So I got lime peels and goldenrods for sure. I'm about to have to venture to a Hobby Lobby and get some more actually. Okay, so we went over everywhere we put goldenrod and out a little bit. Now here's kind of where it's up to you. If you want to create a highlight in your sunflower to make it look like it's like shiny or brighter in the middle, you'll come up and you will tip your flowers kind of orange. So I guess we can go ahead and try it. I'm not going to do a whole lot, but if you want that definite highlight, you would darken and then make the middle part bright. Oh, I skipped a whole leaf right here. Or a petal. Goodness, me and my leaves today. I think it's because I was working on palm trees on the other color along, so now I've got leaves in my head. I am excited with how it's coming out, though. I've only got like 3 trees done, but I'm excited. I think it just feels good to be back into it. Okay. My first big project back, I should say. And a book I haven't seen done a whole lot to. I think the paper throws a lot of people off on that one. Like I said, we're kind of winging it on this one. Usually I practice and I have a few different combinations. But for whatever reason, Instant Ink decided not to mail me my ink before I ran out, which is kind of a bummer because that's like their whole thing is we'll ship it before you need it. But I got on to print and it just kept printing blank paper, and then I got on and it ordered the ink the same day, so it must have ran out. But that's alright. We have another new kitten we brought in. They named her Nova for now. She was just part of a too big a family. She was part of 13 kitties that were all outside kitties. And like I said, it's starting to get cold. Hand me her. And it was starting to get cold, so they didn't want her outside anymore, and they couldn't find a home for her. So she's just a tiny little thing. Say hi. Say hi. But she's still learning the rules of the desk too. Something about the desk and the book open and the bright light attracts them. They're like, we must come lay on it. Okay, now we're going to pull Sunburst Yellow. Sorry about the noise. I thought I sharpened everything before I started. same thing. We're going to go over that orange and pull out a little bit. Now, remembering that our goal is to blend with the canary yellow. So we're leaving room for that canary yellow. And it might seem like you can't really tell the difference in the colors and you want to skip this step. It's not about being able to tell the difference in the colors. What we're trying to do is not jump from goldenrod straight to canary yellow because it's harsh. So we're trying to just use a gradient to slowly get our way from goldenrod to canary. Looks like I skipped that petal. Oh, leaf. Or no, petal. I was right that time. Okay. Okay, so you could also go, and if this is where you want to make your shine, you could take cream and color in right here and blend it all together this way, and your flowers would stay that color. Again, I'm going a little brighter. I'm going for a kind of bright, vibrant theme here. So I'm going to use canary. I might soften it with cream when we're done, but let's go ahead and blend this one together and see what we think. So circular motions are great for blending. Petals do have an up and down feel to them. So if you want to go up and down, it's not going to hurt too much. So I am going to just soften just a touch where that goldenrod is. And I think I like it. So I'm going to go in first and fill in all the canary yellow. And then I'll come back and blend out that some more if need be. Sometimes I get to talking and just to fiddling and forget I'm on camera and that people are actually watching, and I get carried away with the blending and the things. All right. Again, be careful on them thick black lines, especially with your cream, because for whatever reason, cream really likes to pick up this ink off these books. And again, it might be a little different depending on where your ink is printed. I know the ones I was getting from Walmart were bad about it. And I can't remember if I got this one off Walmart or Amazon. It's been a while now, but always better safe than sorry. Now, if you are wanting extra definition, if you're wanting to really go in and make things darker, vibrant, you can go in with a chocolate, you can go in with a dark brown, and you can kind of just add a little to this. I am not going to add a whole lot, as I don't want the brown to muddy up all the colors I just did. But if you are interested, that is one extra step you can kind of go in and make some extra definition. Can you kind of tell the difference on that one versus everybody else? It's probably not a whole lot to tell, but we are already. All right. So just getting them sunflowers put in. Or yellows put in, the sunflowers, I should say. And I do think, like this one, I am going to bring a little more brown in. Personal preference. Just in a couple spots here, I'm going to and it looks a little harsh at first, I promise. It will buffer out. And the cool thing about doing this is if you don't like it, you're not pressing hard. I am actually pressing light and I am heavy-handed. So, but if you don't like it, you are on top of other wax. So if you erase it out, it shouldn't leave marks. Like if this were your first color down and then you decided you didn't like it. But I do think I like that. I feel like it really brings in some of the background color. So I will probably go around and add some of that brown all the way around the flowers there, or petals. I think I'm missing an orange on this one. It feels different. Feels different. Where's my sunburst? Feels less gold. And maybe I already did do this, but I'm going to go ahead and just touch it up a little. I want them to be kind of similar, not necessarily blend together similar, but I don't want one to look too different than the other. If they weren't right next to each other on the page, I think that would be okay. Like this pumpkin and this pumpkin could probably be different and it would be okay, but right here like this, I don't want it to be too different. Notice I am not, when I put this brown in on my petals, I am not blending it with canary yellow. Do not blend dark umber out with canary yellow. You won't like it. It will not go well. Again, too big a jump between colors. I forgot to bring my goldenrod up on that petal, so I'll do that when I put the brown in. I'm going to quickly throw this one in, and then we'll see about getting a pumpkin done. Maybe a leaf or two. Or berries. I think I have berry colors ready to go, actually. Trying not to break this into so many parts, but sometimes. Okay, so I will do the same thing to this one. I'm going to also come in with this dark brown and kind of darken around the center of this flower. I planned on doing this anyway. This just adds a little shadow and kind of makes the center of this flower pop out a little. And again, I'm going to add a few browns that I'm not going to blend out with my yellow, canary yellow. We're going to blend it out with the goldenrod. Sometimes it's easier for you to watch me do it than to tell you how, so I hope you can see I'm just adding random lines in the direction of the petal. That's all I'm doing. You don't have to, you don't even have to start at the bottom. If you want to start up here and add a couple, that works too. That'll add a little depth, a little higher up on your leaf. A sharp tip does help with this because you get them nice fine thin lines. We don't want chunky, we don't want heavy, we don't want it to become a wilted petal by any means. Not on these ones anyway. So a sharp tip. Oh, I kind of boogered that one. Here's a great chance to show you an erasing. Let me clean my eraser. Always make sure whatever eraser you use, you clean it, because if you have any blue or red or anything that smears onto your yellow, you're going to be sad about it. Streaking in a couple details. Okay, so that's how, this one is how they will both look when I get that far, minus the center. I don't have my browns picked out here yet because I don't want them to blend in with the door too much, so we're going to hop up here and do this pumpkin because I have the pumpkin colors ready to go. And berries. So pumpkins we can base in orange if we want to. This is pretty little, so I'm just going to go ahead and tackle it in pencils. So I have a pumpkin orange pulled, and I'm going to go all the way around the top of this pumpkin lightly. I probably should say I'm going for a brighter orange pumpkin, kind of like this. I don't want anything too dark. It's going to blend in with my door. So I'm going for a bright pumpkin, but I am going to use this as my shadow. And it's kind of the same. So on the edge of these lines, I'm going to go around with this dark. If you struggle going dark first, my lightest color is going to be that sunburst orange. So what I would do is I go in and the highest points I know are going to be highlighted, I'll just fill them in first. And that way, if I do accidentally color over them, it will change the color. If you know what I mean, like the color I put down will automatically be lighter. So those are all my light spots. So now all I have to do is kind of go around, and I'm not sure. I'm going to shadow around that very lightly. I do want it to look shadowed, but not dark, odd shadowed, I guess you could say. Okay. And these colors, this is a perfect right here example of why we use gradients and transition colors, because this jump from light to dark is not going to blend well. It's not pretty, but we trust the process. So our next color is going to be orange. You can use pale vermilion if you want. I find that's a pretty pumpkin color. Sorry about the noisy car going by. And I'm going to, everywhere I put that pumpkin orange, I'm going to go over with this orange. And I'm going to go right over the top. And this is good for circular motions. Blend those colors together. Keeping it at the top there. It's kind of tricky to do because I don't have my handheld sharpener, and this one is too small for my big sharpener. Alright, we're starting to look like a pumpkin now. Starting to look like a pumpkin. Okay, sunburst orange, Spanish orange, yellowed orange. What other kind of oranges do we have? I think that's about all of them. Yellowed orange. All of those work great. There is not a preference necessarily. I'm going to use yellowed orange because I love it with orange. And it gets circular motions. And as this page isn't super realism, I mean, it is, but it isn't. I am not going super realism. Now, if there was supposed to be like a photograph of the pumpkin patch, I would probably put in some more details and things, but I'm not into super realism, so, you know, I'm not going to put every crack and crevice and a little bit of green and color in the pumpkin. I do adore the pages that do, don't get me wrong. They are beautiful. This is just my thing. I do want to try to get into that a little more, like super realism. There's a page in that Neko, I might have said that backwards, the cats, that I want to try to tackle. They're a little more realistic, but I don't know. I don't want to take the fun out of it with all the super small details. And I kind of feel like the more I stress over that, putting a little beauty mark there, the more I stress over if it looks realistic and things like that, the less fun it is for me. And that might just be a me thing, but okay, coming in with my Sunburst Yellow, which is what I brought in first to mark my highlight places. Again, I wanted that nice bright orangey pumpkin. If you want to tone it down a little, you can go over it again with this orange that I'm putting beauty marks in with. And see, if you don't press hard and you just go over it a few times, it'll automatically make a little mark in it. And that way also, if you don't like it, you can stop, because you have to go over it quite a few times to get it. So. All right. There is my pumpkin. I'm going to put a little mark there. I'm going to darken that one a little. And then just make sure that this line here isn't too harsh. I don't like harsh lines. I like everything to be blended. Alright, so there is one pumpkin. Now I would like to show you a white pumpkin, and I do believe I have a tutorial up, or maybe it's just a short. One of the two, I think both actually, for a white pumpkin. I just don't feel like a white pumpkin would fit my page right here. So I'm going to do another orange little baby pumpkin here, but if you want to do a white pumpkin, you can. One of the little white and green little baby ones they have out would be super cute. I am not a pumpkin specialist, so I apologize that I don't know the names of all the types of pumpkins there are, but I did when I went to Walmart. They have all their pumpkins out. I seen the little orange and white and green ones. They were kind of cute. I should grab one and then set it on my desk and find a page I can practice. By the time I got it figured out, pumpkin season will probably be over. Okay, making this up here darker, because on these little pumpkins the tops usually sit down. And I will come back with the brown in a little bit and do the stems and stuff, but just getting base colors in for now. So orange again. And if you want this one to be darker orange, you could color this whole thing orange. You can take your cadmium orange. If you're wanting it darker than this so they don't look exactly the same, because this pumpkin's smaller, and that might be what I do. I think I'm going to put a little more orange on this pumpkin so it looks a little oranger. Okay, and then this is yellowed orange. Now I'm not fully blending yet. I am starting to, but I'm not burnishing. I'm leaving some white for just a minute. And I'm going to come back in with this dark orange again. And I'm going to kind of add my little beauty marks to my pumpkin. Okay, back in with a little bit of that orange. Blend all of those together. A couple of spots I'm leaving, so I will have highlight spots. I just like the way those look. I'm getting into highlights and shadows lately. Okay, and then I'm going to take that yellow. Again, if I got any harsh lines, I'm going to try to blend them out. And it's not quite as bright a pumpkin, but it's not a dark orange pumpkin either. And I do believe there are about 1,000,001 tutorials out for pumpkins. There's probably even some better ones out for white pumpkins. But there is 2 pumpkins and 2 flowers. Let's quickly do the red berries everywhere. So I'm not going to marker base them because they're fairly little. So I'm not going to worry too much about it, but I'm going to pull a Tuscan red if I can find my reds here. A crimson red. You could go purple if you have a black raspberry, a dark grape. I'm going for Tuscan red. I don't want to use terracotta. Sometimes those two can be interchangeable. The terracotta is a little more brown than red, so be aware if you add white or anything like that, the brown is going to shine through more than the red. Pardon the noise. Okay. So I'm going to go with poppy red, crimson red. I got to make sure none of these are scholars because I do have a few scholars mixed in, and Tuscan red for my berry combination. And kind of the same thing we've been doing. I always work in 3s with my colors. So light, medium, dark, light, medium, dark. Dark in the shadows, medium everywhere else, and light where your highlights want to be and to blend. So just kind of going around. I don't know. I think these are supposed to be berries, and the little dots just got forgot. So I'm going to color them like berries if they're not. Oops. Whoops. Now I know this kind of doesn't look like the C shape we're used to doing with berries, but I want to keep the shadow look in there. So one of those, trust the process. I always advise you watch or at least look at mine done before you follow along, so that way you'll know if you like it or not. Probably a little late to tell most of you that now, but how to practice a little. Okay. Let's start with those ones. They're pretty easy, so I don't think you need to watch me do the whole page. Okay, so going right over that Tuscan red. Again, not burnishing a whole lot. I skipped 2 berries. That's a little bit of my ADHD shining through. I got bored, moved on. Okay. So on these ones here, I just kind of pick a side. I kind of should have did this one opposite and made that side my highlight, but we're going to roll with it anyway. And I have a white gel pen at the very, very end. I will put a white dot for a highlight with the gel pen. If I do it now, they'll probably turn pink. If you take a white pencil or a crayon, anything that has a little bit of that wax barrier, and you put a little dot down and then put your white gel pen on it, it helps from soaking up the pigment of the pencil and turning your white red, if you are that worried about it. Sometimes I am, sometimes not so much. Oh, I colored the end of my flower. Don't do that. I'll have to go back with an eraser and touch that spot up. So now I can see I missed another piece of door there, which is why always keep your colors out. So write down the colors you used on the flowers in case you missed a petal like I did. Keep your berries out. It's just always a good idea to kind of keep track of what you're using. And I am bad about it. I have a million whips because I started them and I can't go back and finish them because I don't know what I used. So I am reminding you guys, as well as trying to remind myself, to get better at keeping track of what I used. And those of you that sit and probably finish in shorter periods of time don't have that problem. I'm a skip arounder. I have a hard time doing one project for too long. That might also be why my videos run in different parts. Okay, so again, just going over the whole berry and blending. Blending, blending. When Christmas comes, we will probably have a ton more of these berries, and we can get a little more in depth, add a little more detail, get the shiny on there, add some yellow, that kind of thing if we so wish. But for the purpose of this page, I really just like the red. I haven't decided on colors for this, but I did want to get some of this in so I could decide what was going to blend with all this stuff around. Make sure I get all in the gaps here. Alright, so there are our berries, our pumpkins minus the stems, and our sunflowers, which look a little different on camera than they do. So you can kind of see the brown versus the one that doesn't. Alright, so I am going to leave that for part 2. I will come in and finish the berries on this, and then for part 3 we will tackle the rest, or close to. We'll probably get some leaves in and these maybe. I appreciate you watching. If you're still here hanging out with me, questions, comments, requests, anything like that, please let me know, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.